Oh yeah, here we go. Episode 108. You gotta be kidding me. Evening Hour Live right now. Come on in, folks. Cheers. Come on in. Hold on. And there's the vinyl. What's up, people? Come on in, it's Monday. As you know, it's my favorite day of the week, and we already have a crowd in here. Come on in. My name is Cardone. You're watching Evening Hour Live. This is episode 108, which is crazy. Welcome, come on in. Oh my gosh. I got a great group in here already. I see my mama's in here. What's up, mama? Mr. Christopher. Yes. Party time, people. I'm drinking Manhattan Special Sarsaparilla. Come on, focus. Focus, motherfucker. Focus. There we go. Focus. Highly recommend this Manhattan Special Sarsaparilla. Oh, you have no idea. All right, we're going to... Oh my God, there's so much going on in here right now. Thank you. Thank you, Malcolm. This is a new shirt that I will wear for about a month. I'm a major Joe Spinell fan, and I might do an episode on him. Before we get started, I know a lot of you are excited tonight. Some of you won't know what I'm talking about on the subject, but you're going to have a good time, I promise. And you're going to want to go do your own research on some of the stuff and the TV shows I'm going to talk about. But we're not there yet. I got a lot of crap to go through. Really, I'm excited for tonight's episode because next week's episode is going to be even better. This is the setup for it. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. It is damn hard to get subscribers. I got new people in here. Rosemarie. What's up, Rosemarie? You're new. You're a new person. Howdy. Yeah, come on in. I mean, you're going to see. If you're new, chat, ask questions. It's a chatty group. People have great things to say. So, please, participate. And if you participate, you get points. I got a damn robot. Oh, Jack Wild fan. Okay, we're going to have a good time. No, honestly, yeah, if you're new... You want to chat because I got a robot, Zalfon the Tyrant. That robot not only moderates some of my stuff. What's up, Christopher? It also rewards points for people chatting, and it lets you gamble. You'll see people gambling points, and if you win, you can go to my online store and order either a mystery box or a poster. Now, check this out. The directions... to do all of that are below in the description. If you're the donating type, by God, go ahead and donate. I'm a full-time performer, so it all goes to the cause. But you don't have to. I'm not begging for tips. Subscribe. That's the least you can do. All right, let's keep going here. Yes, Meatloaf died. Somebody wrote, rest in peace. Meatloaf, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan. I like Rocky Horror. I love Eddie from Rocky Horror. I just never... I'm going to be honest. One of the things I don't like about Meatloaf is I don't like the way he sings. He has what I call fake vibrato, where you put pressure on your vocal cords and you do this like shake and it like wobble. It's like not real vibrato. Never liked his singing. Thank you, Ruth. Ruth is Some of you have gotten mystery boxes, and you'll see. They're amazing. What else? Oh, yeah, I've been in a Friedrich Nietzsche hole. My Nietzsche experience in philosophy, I don't even know where to begin. I'm still deep. I mean, I'm almost done with Beyond Good and Evil, but it's making me go deeper into some thinking holes. The concept of eternal reoccurrence. Whew, I'm going to do an episode on just that. And also, something hard to wrap your head around. I wrote it here. Yeah. Cruelty as a basis for all knowledge. Whoa. Cruelty for the basis of all knowledge. I'm going to do an episode on just that. Some deep stuff, not easy to wrap my head around all of it yet, but when it starts to make sense, it's a feeling like no other. So I've been in a deep Nietzsche hole. What else? Oh, the Havana Syndrome. The Havana Syndrome, if you don't know what it is, I've mentioned it. It's where there's been a few diplomats in Cuba and in Washington, D.C., that felt some weird thing happened to them that caused physical side effects. And the implication was somebody was spying on them and beaming them with some microwave gun, right? Well, now it comes out they're saying that it's not real. It's actually mass hysteria causing physical side effects. I'm going to do an entire episode on just that alone. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It could be there really is this terrible thing and they're saying it was that. It could be like they're saying it's mass hysteria. I don't know the facts. I don't know about the story, and I haven't done my own deep dive into the research. I plan on doing it, and I want to do an episode on it. So we'll get to that. But if you want to look it up, look up Havana Syndrome. And you'll see some info on it. It's very weird. It's very James Bond spy. It also could be propaganda, which is what they're saying it could be now. They could have done it to have a reason to leave Cuba and get aggressive to Cuba. Like a false flag attack, which whenever you bring that up, people go, conspiracy theorists, but I'm sorry, if you study war, the Vietnam War, the Iraq War, false flags are used all the time. I can't believe people don't see that happens. They also do it domestically too. So whenever a conspiracy theorist gets yelled at, it's like, well, they're just assuming bad things are going on. Why? Because it's happened before. So you could say Occam's razor, the philosophical term of going for the most sharp, direct route to the answer, is the conspiracy sometimes. The poster. Well, okay. Someone's saying in here, why would someone pick a poster when they can have the mystery box? Rosemary's saying she'd like to have the poster. Okay, here's the deal. The poster, you don't get to pick which one, but it will be one of the ones that's like, hard to get. There's only a few left. It would either be a magic show poster, a variety show poster, or one of my Toilet Boys posters. I have Toilet Boy memorabilia too. Yeah. Mr. Christopher, Magister Christopher saying, Beyond Good and Plenty. Oh my God, that would be a great t-shirt. Like the Beyond, the Good and Plenty candy. I love it. What's up, Ruby? Come on in. So, I'm going to start going in the subject tonight. I got a lot to talk about. I want to talk tonight. We're just going to get into it. If you have questions, you ask. You can chat amongst yourselves. You can play. Somebody check your points so the new people can see what that looks like. You type in certain things and you can see how many points you have. You can also type in certain things and gamble those points. So while I'm up here doing my thing, you guys can participate. So I'm talking tonight about something that influenced me a lot. I consider Sid and Marty Krofft to be the Ramones of television. I do. I always say the Ramones are the most influential group of musicians to ever walk planet Earth. And I can debate that one. But I think in the same way, Sid and Marty Krofft, the production duo, the brothers that created some wonderful stuff, put a seed in the ground that influenced a generation of weirdos. They influenced everybody to a certain degree, but to a certain type of person, they really hit the nail on the head. And, El Depression. Do I know you? Some of these names I don't. There are a lot of new people in here tonight, which is great. Hit that damn subscribe button. Hit the like and the notify if you can. Sid and Marty Krofft. Wow. Okay. So if you said, well, who the heck are these guys? I would say they, for me, produced a series of television programs for family audiences that started in 1969, and they're still alive today producing. Yes. And, oh, John, did you hear who's going to be on my show next week? I don't know if you heard. John, who just said Land of the Lost, you want to tune in next week, because one of them's going to be on my show. I'm not kidding. I'm a major fan. No, you're not. Are you really? No, there's no winning, but you can get a poster at 1,000 points? I don't know. How do you have 992 points? I don't believe it. Maybe you do. Hellish Smog. I love the names in here. So, Land of the Lost is definitely the most famous TV show to come from Sid and Marty Krofft, in my opinion. I would put H.R. Pufnstuf second. I would put Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. I mean, they had a lot of shows. And a lot of these shows only did a few episodes, yet they were really, like, kind of profound. And I'm going to show some clips tonight of them. But, oh, there you go. Hellish Smog, you and your grandma. Thank you. Hi, Grandma. I try to make these shows kind of for everybody. It's whoever likes fun, weird, thoughtful info, right? I'd love to get a description from some of the people that watch this show of what the vibe is, because I don't know how to describe it. Did they do Hot Fudge? Did they? I don't think so, but they might have, because they produced a lot of really weird little one-offs, which I'm going to try to get in here tonight. So let's start, man. Sid and Marty Krofft. Now, I wrote a list of the shows that I know and am familiar with, but there's a whole bunch more that we're going to talk about. But they started off as they were in Canada. Sid Krofft was born in 1929. His brother was born in 1937. And I found that I had a lot in common with Sid as I'm doing a little research on this guy. Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about why I didn't mention Lidsville. I never got to watch that show when I was a kid. It wasn't on when I watched, and I'll talk about that in a second. So these dudes started performing. So Sid started doing puppeteering at a very early age, doing marionette work, and he started getting good enough that he could do nightclubs. And he did carnivals first in his hometown, which is what I was doing. So when I was a little kid, I started getting gigs and doing magic in local carnivals. I did the arts festival. There was festival things. Like our downtown in my hometown did festivals, and I would get booked to do magic. So that's what he did. So eventually his family moved to the Bronx from Canada, and he got a gig in a nightclub in Jersey. Okay. And at 16, he auditioned for Ringling Brothers, and he got booked in their sideshow. He got booked in the sideshow. And he only got $75 a week for probably doing 15 to 20 shows. Oh, no, I mean, he probably did his show in grind. He probably did 15 shows a day, 6 days a week for $75. I heard Ringling Brothers. Oh, yeah, your eye points aren't working. I don't know. Some of them. Is it not working tonight? Is my points game not working? It's possible. Let me see something here. It's acting weird. Oh no, is Zalthon working? Maybe Zalthon's not working tonight. What the heck? Anywho, oh, you said they're spooky and informative. Oh wow, okay. So I heard Ringling Brothers clowns were getting $450 for a week up until they stopped, 4 or 5 years ago. Think about that, $450 a week. Most party clowns get between $250 and $550 an hour for one show. And Ringling, you're doing 15, 20 shows in a week, and you're only getting $450. Free living, free food, right? So $75 a week, I don't know if that would been considered good then. Probably not. For the amount of work this 16-year-old was doing. And he didn't like it, and he only did 2 seasons, which is what most, I think, circus people do. They get in and you get out. So, he quit, and he went and started working in burlesque venues. I kid you not. So when I'm looking at this dude's life, I'm like, wow, he kind of... I've done a lot of these same trajectories of sorts, and I have done circus work. So he went to the drugstore, the burlesque shows, and his brother Marty, the other Krofft at the time, he was working in a drugstore, and then he was a car salesman. And then Sid Krofft, the artist puppeteer, got a gig in, I think, the West Coast, opening for Judy Garland. It's a sick gig, right? Doing marionettes. There's a marionette puppeteer, like, getting these really great mainstream gigs now. He got a Judy Garland gig. So his brother flew out to kind of be with him and help him work on this. And they became a team. They started working together on one type of a project. And my God, I mean, I wrote Puppet Power in the title of the show tonight, and I'm going to talk about that at the end. As you know, my thoughts on puppeteering is that it's definitely one of the most powerful art forms on earth. It's the embodiment of the power of suggestion. Really. It's magic incarnate, in my opinion. And not just my opinion, but we'll talk about it. So here they are. They're a team, right? I got a lot of notes today because there were so many details I didn't want to miss. So while he's doing these great this marionettes for opening for megastars, he got a great idea. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, I would love to attempt to try this. But my version of it, of course, because I don't know if there's even video of this, but they created together a show, a live show called Les Poupées de Paris for our French speakers out there. Rosemary speaks French, I believe. I saw her put French in the first title. It was a puppet burlesque act. I mean, you can't make this up. I was like, that's a great idea. Stripping puppets. Striptease puppetry. Brilliant. And I heard it did well and it sold out their show. As I know, in show business, theater shows don't make that much money. There is a limit to how many tickets you can sell and how much you can charge and how much you can deliver the goods. So I think it was successful, but obviously they wanted to keep moving. So, oui, or as they say in Paris, ouais. But you're not. Yeah. So I'm getting sidetracked. So check this out. They're doing this show in LA, I believe. They're Les Poupées de Paris. I'm terrible with French. Poupees. Les Poupées de Paris. He got a gig doing puppetry at the 1962 World Fair. Now, from what I read, they had a lot of butting of heads, these brothers. They're brothers. One is the puppeteer, the other guy's the businessman, and they're working together, and I think they butt heads, which makes sense. In 1965, the Dean Martin variety show had them on and started having them as regular guests. And I think they did 6 shows, and then Dean Martin gave him the boot. He didn't like it. Somebody said he thought it upstaged him. Les Poupées de Paris. Did I say that correct? Francis Ann says I did. So imagine, now they went from Judy Garland to the World's Fair. Now they're doing Dean Martin's show. And meanwhile, we have these 2 guys called Hanna and Barbera. Mega production company. To this day, we all know the characters. And, Hanna-Barbera is producing cartoons, but people don't know this. Cartoon production ain't cheap. It's not cheap. You got to pay everything's drawn. They didn't have computers. And so, Hanna-Barbera wanted to do a show that incorporated cartoons, live action, puppets, and whatnot. And yeah, that's what they said. Dean Martin felt upstaged by the puppets. So Hanna-Barbera contacted Sid and Marty Krofft Productions to design costumes for a show called The Banana Splits. Now, I got to see reruns of these shows. They weren't on live, it wasn't a new show when I was a kid. In the 60s, the show, I'm pretty sure was popular. I mean, it was popular when I was little on Saturdays. And so they designed these characters, which is pretty cool. Let me get back to my live cam. So, the Banana Splits were like kind of goofball characters who interacted with one another, and then they would cut to a cartoon. And I think they hired the right guys. They have a really great knack for designing puppets and things that are kind of, let me look at this again. Like, one of them's a dog, one of them looks like a lion, one's an elephant, and one's some sort of bear. But there's just something off about them. I don't know. They're just like the right blend of exaggerated, scary, and cute, I guess. They're a little cute, but not really. I don't know if you know this, but there's a Banana Splits movie that came out 2 years ago that's a horror film. I kid you not. I didn't see it yet. Yes, Pre-Monkeys, I believe. So, basically, Sid and Marty Krofft did that show. Very successful show. High profile. And then they started getting offers to do their own show. And not only was it going to be their own show, it was going to be, they were like, let's make a cartoon, but live action. And it'll be cheaper, and it'll be better. How can you lose? It's a great formula. You have a master puppeteer who designed this hit show. And so they came up with this thing called Kaleidoscope, which eventually turned into H.R. Pufnstuf. And H.R. Pufnstuf, I believe, they filmed 17 episodes, and it was successful, but Not really. And then they ended up making a movie, a Puff and Stuff movie. And again, I think it was successful, but not 100%. It was moderately. They had to add their own money. They had to they got a budget and it was good, but then they were like, we gotta. So they started adding their own money, and it turns out that one of their biggest markets for HR Puff and Stuff were college kids. It was called Puff and Stuff. People thought it was a little wink wink to the drug culture. Turns out they swear it wasn't. They're like, dude, it was. One of the writers came up with the name Puff and Stuff, and he explained it in it. What's up, Josh? Come on in. So, oh really? I didn't know about Steve-O as a clown college. I know a lot of people that went to clown college. I didn't know he graduated. Did he? If he did, that's cool. So they're doing. They did the movie and it didn't do well, and so they were like, we got to do another show. So then they did the Bugaloos, and I'm going to show some of these clips. And I grew up watching the Bugaloos in rerun format. And then that was canceled. And they had stars in some of these. Now, HR Puff and Stuff had a child star, Jack Lord, and he, I think he was already famous for being like a pop singer. But, I mean, and then Bugaloos had Martha Ray. So they had some like really cool stars in these goofy shows, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show it in a second. And then Bugaloos got canceled. And then they did Lidsville. And Lidsville, it was, again, it wasn't like the iron was hit hard yet. It did okay. Now, a lot of these shows that are iconic, the Bugaloos only has 17 episodes. Puff and Stuff had 17, and Lidsville only had 17 episodes. And so it's kind of crazy, but they were doing well, but they didn't like hit the iron on red hot yet, right? 1973. They get an idea to do a theme park. There's a place. That's right, he played the Artful Dodger in Oliver. That's how he got the part. Yep. He did, yeah. He did Oliver, and they were like, he's the in kid. He's like the cool English kid, right? So, the theme park. They end up getting this theme park, which was a giant open-spaced office building in Atlanta with an escalator that went 9 stories. And they made it. It was the world of Sid and Marty Krofft, and it looked really cool. Like, there was a Lidsville area, there was Puff and Stuff, they said there was literally like strolling magicians everywhere. It's a place I would have gotten a job at, right? And so they're doing this, and they're doing Sigmund and the Sea Monster at the same time. Sigmund does well. It does enough to get 2 seasons. And Billy Barty, Rip Torn, it had some Rip. I get the Rips mixed up. Rip Taylor, Mr. Confetti. And so the theme park, it started in 1975. In 73, they started getting the idea. They create the theme park. It only lasts 6 months. They said it was in a bad neighborhood. The rides, the animatronic rides were breaking down all the time. And it just didn't. When you make art, I don't care if it's a theme park, a play, or you're in a rock band, all the components have to kind of work for success. And one little element sour, it can make the whole thing just kind of tilt and slide off into nothing. And so it sounds like that's what it was. It sounded like it all was kind of perfect. The timing was off. And so I think Sid and Marty Krofft, being pretty smart, they're like, look, you can't win them all. And we just keep moving. They weren't going to stop. And And then in 1974, they hit the iron red hot with Land of the Lost, and it was a major success. It was the #1 show for its time bracket, and I'm going to show now a montage of one thing that's important. All of these shows that I'm talking about, the opening credits told the backstory. Every show. And so when you see the opening credits, you know the backstory, and then you can watch any episode. And I saw how I watched these shows. Saturday morning, they would play them. But I got to see them after school every day from the time I was, kindergarten. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was a different show. That's how they were able to and I saw these, I probably started watching them 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, all through that. The shows were run, one of those shows every day, and they would cycle them through. And then Saturday was Land of the Lost for me. And then there was the Sid and Marty Krofft variety show that also had mini shows in that show. And we're going to, like Bigfoot and Wild Boy, Dr. Shrinker, Electra Woman, right? These are all nonsense to most of you. Let's watch some of them. You're going to love this. Check this out.
You find that special someone you never expected to. It'll make you believe in magic. It could change your life for you. Talk about friends, knocking at your door, friends.
The bugaloos, we're in the air and everywhere, flying high, flying loose, flying free as a summer breeze, happy as a summer breeze.
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known. High on the rapids, it struck their tiny raft and plunged them down 1,000 feet below to the land of the lost.
Come on, get out of here. Come on. Will, come on, Holly, let's go.
To the land of the lost. To the land of the lost.
I mean, that's pure heaven on earth for me, folks. Really. Those shows, somebody mentioned Far Out Space Nuts. That was also one of my favorites. That had Bob Denver. Those I'm telling you, they were not on drugs. I'm telling you, they were nerds. One was a businessman and the other one was a puppet nerd. Those guys, I mean, maybe some of the writers were, but they were pretty straight up. And listen, look at those shows. There's miniature work, there's stop motion, there's puppetry, there's really great for the time green screen kind of stuff. I don't even know where to begin at how much influence I had. I always tell people the difference between computer animated special effects and in-camera analog special effects. The difference for me is that when I see a digital effect like a computer animated dinosaur or whatever, it doesn't inspire me to go create my own art for some reason. But when I see a puppet or a miniature set that I know is a miniature set, and it actually asks me to buy into it a little bit, it engages me in a very different manner. And it made me want to go make miniature sets. I'd see the show and be like, oh my God, they're mixing miniature sets with green screen, and it made me want to go do it myself. I remember when I was a kid, when I got old enough to notice that the close-ups of the dinosaurs were hand puppets, the far-away shots were stop motion. When I was little, I was like, oh, wow. Different mediums being mixed. You know, I was able to notice it. Now, here's why I believe Land of the Lost is the superior show of all of them, and to this day is one of the most influential TV shows I've ever seen, and it's because it was serious. It caused anxiety in me. This family, Marshall, Will, and Marshall's the last name. They get lost. They're in a raft. They go over a waterfall, and here they're in another realm, a world that has, you know, 2 moons in the sky, and there's dinosaurs, and there's slee stacks, which are these like lizard men, and it was really stressful to watch these people try to survive, and with this hope of going home. And one of the characters on the show, who is one of my favorite characters in TV history, is this gentleman right here. That's Chaka, aka Philip Paley. He's going to be on my show next week. Yeah, I'm going to interview him live on Zoom right here on this show. He was 10 years old when he got the part. And he played the Bigfoot monkey boy that lived in the jungle and befriends Holly and becomes her like little play friend in the show. And as a little kid, you know, I wanted Chaka to crawl out of the woods and be my friend, you know? Like, it was like the perfect little buddy, you know? With great costuming. The acting was good. It's not bad acting. It was a really well-acted, produced show, you know, for kids. And even to this day, if I watch an episode, it's really interesting. It's very imaginative. It was pretty groundbreaking at the time, and I still think it is. And everybody knows Land of the Lost now because they did a remake. They made a movie, and there's a TV show that came out in the 90s that I heard did okay. It's not bad. It doesn't have the charm as the old one. The effects are obviously better. I could care less. But so Land of the Lost was very successful. It ended up going for 3 seasons. And while they're doing that, Sid and Marty Krofft got an opportunity to do a primetime television show. They did the Donnie and Marie show. 1976 came out, and the pilot episode that showed was a big success. 16 million people watched the first one. And so that was on, but I think that show fizzled out quick too. It didn't last long. Oh, I wrote down here. The theme park, one of the rides in the theme park was a life-sized pinball machine that you rode in the pinball. You got in a ball, and it was you going through a big pinball machine. There was also a 3-tiered crystal carousel. Yeah, they said it was a money pit. Anywho. So, 1976, the Krofft Super Show, which was a variety show with all of their weird stuff. And on that show, there was Electra Woman and Dyna Girl and all of these things. The Brady Bunch Hour was another show they produced. Look that up. 1979. It only did 6 episodes. They were going to be monthly, and that was it. They did 6 episodes. Now, here's the show. I give you a little homework to go look up. You're going to thank me. The reason is I didn't know about this. I just learned about it recently. And I can't believe it. You got to see it. It's a show called Pink Lady and Jeff. Pink Lady and Jeff, 1980. I don't know what the heck they were thinking. I don't even know how many episodes they did. Oh, they only did 6 episodes. Me and Kay two Japanese pop stars called Pink Lady, their group. And Jeff is a comedian. Jeff Altman. So this guy, Jeff Altman, comes out in a tuxedo, does stand-up comedy. Then two Japanese pop singers come out, and then they do some skits, and then they do more skits. And from what I saw, it's literally him flirting with them and them flirting with him and nothing going on. You have to see it. Look up Pink Lady and Jeff. You're going to be like, I almost want to order the DVD. I was that impressed. And kind of see the whole thing because it's hard to believe. Anywho, that did not do well. So you can see these guys, they threw a lot of stuff, and some of it stuck to the wall and some of it didn't. You know? The Mandrell sisters had a show that they produced. So they were like puppeteers that were good at doing variety shows. Oh, Lilith, you must go. Your jaw's gonna hit the floor. It's hard to believe. Pryor's Place. Richard Pryor had a show. 15 episodes. Didn't know about it. In 1986, they produced a show called DC Follies. Back to puppets. And I don't know what they were tripping on. They were tripping on, maybe they were lead poison like the Romans. I don't know. It's weird. DC Follies was political humor with puppets. That was 1986. So you can see they're still going through. 1991, they produced another Land of the Lost TV show. Now, I'm missing lots of little things they did. I mean, they really like... Dude, I mean, where's that list of shows? Where's my show list? Oh, Land of the Lost, The Bugaloos, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, Far Out Space Nuts with Bob Denver, Gilligan, The Lost Saucer, Ruth Buzzy. Anybody know who else? Anybody remember Gomer Pyle? Nobody? Oh, yeah. Dude, it was Ruth Buzzy and Jim Neighbors on a children's TV program called The Lost Saucer. HR Puffin stuff. Electro Woman and Dyna Girl. I only saw one time when I was little. Once! And I never forgot it. The reason why I never forgot it is I saw it once, and I have a Viewmaster of it. So I would look at the Viewmaster and dream about seeing it again on TV, which you couldn't do unless you caught it live on TV. No DVD, no videotapes. And it was at my age bracket, I thought the girls were really pretty. I was like, wow. Electro Woman, and I thought Dyna Girl was cute. Dr. Shrinker, Lidsville, Bigfoot and Wild Boy. I mean, they had all these weird shows. You can see them all. Here's something I wanted to show you. This is a short little scene from HR Puffin stuff. This is their first show they produced. It might be one of the better looking ones. The look was great. And I really want you to see the surreal quality of this. Billy Hayes is Witchy Poo, and she's fantastic. And I forget, they also employed a lot of little people because of the costuming. Billy Barty, who's one of the celebrity little people, and he was Sigmund, the sea monster guy. And just so you know, Amazon has a brand new Sigmund and the Sea Monsters show, and I'm going to be honest, it ain't bad. It's pretty darn good. I actually think it's really, it looks great. He looks just like the little sea monster guy, but, they jacked it. It's good. Check this Puffin stuff clip out.
Hurry, hurry. Bring that rescue racer. Hurry, boys. Come on, bring it right up here. That's good. Okay, now hurry up, Jimmy. Get on. Get on. Quick now. Good. Okay, let's go. Now give it the gas.
Look at him go! Look at him go! Well, even Dr. Blicky won't be able to help them now. I want that golden flute, and I'll get it. Right, Orson?
Correct as always, my queen of evil.
Right, Seymour?
Yeah, I gotta hand it to you, Chief.
Oh, when I get my wand warmed up, I'm gonna give him such a shot! I've just got to adjust the fine-tuning.
How well made is that? The costumes, the puppets, the mini sets, the special effects, the acting, the canned laughter, the colors. It's beautiful. It's literally that color palette and look is one of my biggest influences of my life. That the style. Now, I don't know if you know this, but McDonald's Land knocked that off. And they got sued. They sued. Yeah, I think they won too. I think Sid and Marty Krofft got a payout. I did an episode on McDonald's and I don't remember the detail on it, but I remember on there I mentioned it. If you look back at my old episodes, I did a whole episode on McDonald's, and I mentioned I remember talking about that. But beautiful. And so these guys, they're still alive. They're still producing. If you go to Instagram, they each one of them has an Instagram you can follow. One is Sid and Marty Krofft, and that's actually Marty runs that one, and Sid Krofft, just Sid runs. I highly recommend it. They record themselves talking. I mean, they do little bits, and they tell stories about the old days. Dude, they're fantastic. TV Land, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, did a tribute that you kind of need to see. It basically looks like they took each show and created a dance number. And it's beautiful. Ooh, Puffin Stuff. Bill Coat. I didn't know that. What show is Debbie Harry on? Which one was she on? I'm curious. Huh. Christopher CR said that. So, what are my thoughts? I wanted to round off the end here on my thoughts on what they did and a little bit about puppetry because, well, not a little bit, a lot. I talked about puppetry when I did my opera episode a few weeks ago on how in the Magic Flute they were doing puppetry with masks and they weren't puppeteers. And yeah, an actor can learn how to puppet something, but it's like teaching an actor a magic trick and it being okay, and then having a professional magician do the same trick. They're not the same. One has 2 layers of detail. The magician has 100 layers of detail. That's the difference. And to me, puppetry is the same. I want to know what Debbie Harry was in. I'm curious. Somebody got Zalfon on them. So anyway, why is puppetry in Japan considered the highest form of acting? Why is ventriloquist with a dummy, meaning puppeteering, why are most ventriloquists in America Christian ministers? Why? Well, because puppetry is powerful. Puppetry is the embodiment of the power of suggestion. And my example is, if I say, hey kids, stay away from drugs. So if I say that, your ears and mind see me doing that and saying it and go, all right, he's making this value. And who is he to say this? But if the puppet says it, even though they know it's me saying it through the puppet, for some reason, it doesn't work the same. It's considered to be almost more honest. In its falsitude, I like making up words. In its, what's a word? In its falseness, falsivity. In its falseness, it's almost more honest. The example I use would be in Madame Butterfly, the opera. The scene in which the naval officer shows up to Japan after many years being gone away from his, quote, one-night stand wife. He shows up to see her, and the surprise is a little kid runs out. And he goes, oh, what? Oh, hey, it's my kid, right? So, you go to see it at the opera, the little kid runs out, and there's an emotional wow. But you don't really feel that gutted. You might a little bit if they're good actors. But, when you see a little kid in an opera, the actor, at least me, I'm like, all right, that's some rich kid, and he doesn't sing, but he knows somebody, and he auditioned and got the part. That's me. A rich kid in the opera. When a puppet runs out that looks real, and it's adorable, and it's little, and it's detailed, and yes, you can see the puppeteers, but they're wearing black. They're not like Avenue Q, like, hi, doing the puppet, which I can't stand. I hate the aesthetic of Avenue Q. I'm just going to sing beside the puppet, and you're not going to notice me. To me, artistically, it's terrible. Humbleizing yourself, trying to make an effort to be invisible, even though everybody can see you, and focusing your entire being into one arm, and the other guy's doing the other arm, and the other guy's doing the feet and the head. That much effort to operate one puppet, when that little puppet runs out on stage, dude, it's an emotion. You can feel the audience just melt. A, you're like, I can't believe it's a puppet. B, it looks real. And C, it really has a sympathetic quality that no living child could ever come up with. Just saying. Does that make sense? I always talk about this little subtle thing about puppetry being the most sincere, powerful art form. And Debbie Harry was on. All right, now I have to get the DVD. Holy crap. I'm gonna, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna Amazon that. I don't even know if it's available. Hold on. I'm looking now. Pink Lady DVD. Let's see, or Blu-ray. Let's see. No. Oh, yes. Here it is. Oh, not available. It's $81. All right, I gotta hunt this down. Oh wow, I gotta own that. Yeah, I'm curious if my description of why I find puppetry to be very powerful. I've done a lot of puppet work. I've done a lot of ventriloquist puppet work, which is different because when you're doing a ventriloquist puppet, you have to split. You are visible, like the stupid Avenue Q guys, but you have to do something. You have to split so that this is alive and independent, and you can talk. Your body is not... So here's something interesting. The most famous ventriloquist who ever lived, Edgar Bergen, actually wasn't very good at the ventriloquist part. He was good at puppeteering. He was good at writing jokes, but he moved his mouth and he couldn't split. Splitting would be this. If the puppet's saying no, let's say this is yes and this is no. And I go, hey, Billy, you feeling good today? No? Did you feel good yesterday? Oh, okay. All right. This is how Edgar Bergen would do it. Hey, Billy, you feeling good today? You feeling good today? He couldn't not do it with the puppet. And his mouth moved when he talked. When I first noticed that as a kid, I was like, oh, he's terrible. Now, he is the most famous ventriloquist for a reason. He's a master performer. He really is. He's a good joke writer. His convictions were, he treated the dummy as a reality. But he couldn't split. And so, interesting, Bill. Yeah, Francis Ann. Okay, here, we're going to talk about this now. Yeah, well, Francis Ann says, yeah, that's why puppet shows stand the test of time. I agree. They do get you. It's Francis Ann wrote, That's why you can put on an episode of The Muppet Show and kids today will stop and watch it. Yeah, it's jarring. Our subconscious knows what's real and what's not. And animated things, digital, we know they're digital. When have you seen an animated actor on screen and were actually fooled? Even when they did the Star Wars movie where they brought out Peter Cushing as an animated character, you can tell. Now, I know eventually they might figure out how you can't tell, but our subconscious evolved for the last 200,000 years to understand what certain laws look like, meaning the law of gravity. So, when you see an actor doing wire work, flying, like Superman in the 80s, it's still obeying certain laws of gravity. But when it's CG, I don't know, there's something wrong. I don't know what it is. It's like, I pick up, it makes me not want to forgive it. I don't know why. Like, okay, let's think about this. Now, this is where we're going to end the show on this because it's getting me to think. When I see something CG, a stunt in a movie, someone's jumping from a train to a building, I know it's not real. I know it was done with stuntmen and it was probably computerized, so they might not have even had to do anything dangerous. I get a very different feeling that when I saw, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a movie with crazy stunt work. I'm not a new movie, old movie. So many old movies, you're like, how did they jump the building? You know, how did they, well, they did it. You know, they figured out how to do it live in camera. The movie, to me, in the modern era, that blew my mind as a masterpiece of action filmmaking was Mad Max Fury Road. It was all in-camera effects mostly. They used digital for, like, color palette stuff, but all the stunt work was real. If you haven't seen it, it's a must. It's an odyssey of car chasing and battling with all actual stuntmen, made by the original director. So, well, he actually started in vaudeville, I believe, and then he moved to radio. And I'm talking about Edgar Bergen. He was a performer, but in vaudeville you could get away with not having perfect lip control too. If you were funny, you're funny. And then he went to radio, which I'm sure for radio, you know, if I'm doing a radio drama and I'm like, you know, hey Charlie, hey Edgar, you're not even trying to hide that you're moving your mouth at that point. Yeah, Buster Keaton did do his own stunts. And so, one time, here's a little anecdote. I was booked to do an event in Manhattan. It was the Bindles. Okay, I don't know who sponsored the event, but it was big. It was an indoor carnival. And when I mean indoor carnival, it's an art space called the Armory in Manhattan. It's like the size of a football field indoors on the Upper East Side. And I think it actually was a military thing for a while. Somebody in here might know what it was. And they were like, we're going to have an indoor carnival, meaning all the booths, the rides, the sideshow, everything. And it was 4 days. And I believe I was booked for all 4 days. And I was booked to do 4 hours each day of walk around magic and ventriloquism with the dummy. Walk around meaning mingle in the crowd. And dude, it was going to be crowded. I knew it was free too, I think, to get in. And so the opening night was Friday night. It was going to be a small crowd, but all the money people. And then Saturday and maybe it was only 3 days. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Saturday, I was going to do the day and then Sunday day. And it was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had to do. 4 hours of running around performing. It's so, I can't even begin to explain what running around with a dummy talking. It's just a lot of work. And the Bindlestiff Family Circus were hired to be in charge of booking the entertainers, and each day they booked good one, Bill. They booked about 15 to 20 entertainers. Juggler, acrobat, magician, And Friday night, it was just me running around, mingling. And Friday night, instead of having regular carnival food, which they had all weekend, they had fancy carnival food. They hired a caterer to make hors d'oeuvres that were like miniature, fancy cotton candy and fancy little hot. They used all the trappings of a carnival to make fancy food. It was kind of awesome, I'm going to be honest. And so I like that I get to work in an environment where I get to experience all these weird themed events. So one of the coolest things in my career ever happened to me that night. I'm walking around doing my ventriloquist act, and I'm just interacting with people. And I always prided myself on technique because I actually worked on it. I wanted to be kind of perfect. So I'm running around, and I'm performing for a small group, and the lady leans forward and goes, "You're very good at that." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I realized it was Candace Bergen. Literally, Charlie McCarthy's sister, okay? It's like, wow. And when I realized it, I was like, "Wow, thank you very much." And I was like, "Coming from you, that means a lot." And she's like, and she smiled, and that was that. I didn't really talk to her much. I was flattered. Wow. Yeah, I'm remembering it now. As I choked to death. Bill said, Adam did his own stunts to get out of Manhattan alive. No, it was easy to leave Manhattan. I left Manhattan, like I moved in 98 or 9, somewhere in there. I went to Brooklyn. Greenpoint. Then I went to Ridgewood, Queens. And then I've been living in Queens, New York now for a very long time. It's my favorite neighborhood by far. Oh, by far. Should do an episode on Queens. Queens is the most diverse town in the world. That's a fact. More languages here than anywhere on earth. Murphy Brown was impressed. Yeah, she was great in Murphy Brown. She, in her biography, which I own, talked about how jealous she was at Charlie McCarthy. She said, here I am, this little girl, and Dad's on TV with this little boy on his knee, and the little boy's saying things, and the audience is laughing, and here I am at home. And she's like, she got jealous of a ventriloquist dummy. It's amazing. But Charlie McCarthy was treated as a celebrity. He had a date with Marilyn Monroe. For real. He had a feud with W.C. Fields, an ongoing feud. And that was kind of a shtick they did. He had his own stationery. He had his own everything. A lot of people don't know that Charlie McCarthy, he didn't change his clothes. He changed his body. That's how they did it. There was a room, there's a picture of it somewhere, of like Charlie McCarthy bodies with different costumes. And then the heads would just plop in, because the head goes down in a hole, and that's how the head's able to move up and down and side to side. It's a separate... If you watch my ventriloquist episode, Behind the Devil's Curtain, I think I take it apart. Wow. Well, Francis Ann, what you said is in the works. So I'm done with Sid and Marty and puppets. I'm going to end the show soon. My tech guru, a.k.a. Golfwang, a.k.a. my son Wolfgang Cardone, he's working on me being able to do a remote operation that's better than me using my stupid iPhone to broadcast. Now, this actually works as a broadcast device. We figured out you can't actually broadcast to YouTube from your phone. They won't let you until you've had 1,000 subscribers. But I figured out how to do it on the outside. There's another way to do it. He's going to rig me up, my son, a better mobile operation unit with a computer so that I would love to do an episode live on the beach with a fire and my friends. It's in the works. It's going to happen. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff I'm working on. I'm going to jack it a bit. I'm going to start to turn it up. I've been inspired to do some cool things. Oh, anybody waiting for my satanic playing cards? They're actually going to get printed soon. They're actually going to get the actual print. Oh, it's been driving me nuts. Manufacturing things the real way with factories, I am very new to this. I don't like it. I'm going to be honest. I like making things with my hands. It's very new, but I'm learning. So whoever kicked in for the Kickstarter, thank you for being patient. You will get the coolest deck of cards ever. What else before I go? Oh, yes, next week. Okay. I don't know if you're watching now, Philip. He might be watching. Next week, I'm going to be interviewing Philip Paley. This is his character that he played when I was a child. Literally, he's one of my favorite. Like, I put Chaka with the Fawns, okay? That's all I'll say. And next Monday, I'm going to do a Zoom interview live here with Philip Paley. And we're going to if you guys have questions you want me to ask, shoot me in my Instagram at Cardone Magic. I have questions I'm going to ask. And I have met him before. And over the years, I met him at a convention. I walked into the Land of the Lost room and was like, oh my God. I didn't even know they were going to have a Land of the Lost thing at Chiller Theater, which is a horror convention that I've been going to for almost 30 years. And about 5-6 years ago, I went and Will, Holly, and Chaka and a Sleestak costume were all right in a room. And I was just like blown away. And I actually ended up chatting and getting this from Philip Paley. And he signed it to my house, to the Red House. Bongo Sirastaka Surfs Up. Love Chaka, Philip Paley. Now, he wrote that because I told him we live in a surf house here. He says he surfs. He is. He's 57. He looks younger than me. I swear to God. I swear to God. He really looks young. I couldn't believe when I found out how old he was. So over the years, we've been chatting online, sharing some weird stories back and forths, and I'm very excited to hang out with him online and ask some questions. I can't even imagine what his life was like at age 10. I can't even imagine. He was Chaka in Land of the Lost at age 10. I'm sure he was the coolest kid in school. So I have many questions. And, yeah, thank you, everybody. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notify. It's the least you can do. If you're the donating type, if you're watching it not online, I don't care. You can always donate and subscribe. Donating is a who cares for me. I love it when I get it. It really does help because the show does cost money. But look, if you are not that, then just tell people about the show. I'm going to try to promote next show a little extra because I think people are going to have a blast. It'll be my first time interviewing somebody that I'm not super close with, because most of the guests that I've had on the show, I've had Throwdini, the world champion knife thrower, Marcus Monroe, the world-class juggler comedian, Adam Reelman, the boss of Coney Island Sideshow King. Who else have I interviewed? Lillian, burlesque queen. I'm close with all of those people. They're all showbiz people that I've done a million shows with. Philip Paley, I'm not close with him. I don't know his details. So I'm excited. I love meeting people. One of my favorite things about being in showbiz, especially variety showbiz, are the people I meet and the stories I hear, and sharing them here live is my pleasure. It helps me remember them. It reminds me of who I am and how I got here and where I'm going. And I love sharing these stories. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for coming in. And yeah, thank you, Lilith, John, all the new people in here. Thank you. If you're new, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week, next Monday. I'm gonna bounce us out with the end credits, and then I'm gonna celebrate Monday. I love Monday. The week begins. I have shows. What do I have this week? I do have some shows this week, and I have some private stuff too, which is good. That's what I need. That's my bread and butter. Yeah. Party on, everybody. Thank you very much. My name's Cardone. This was episode 108 of Evening Hour. And by golly, thank you.